I am back here at Canada's Wonderland for my second full day. In my last vlog, I spent all day credit chasing, trying to get to my 100th roller coaster credit, so be sure to check out that video. But today I will be having a normal day here at Canada's Wonderland. I'll show you everything that I missed out in my previous vlog, including the incredible flat rides that they've got here. Really unique flat rides. And I'll be giving more in-depth reviews of the major coasters. I'll be deciding which is my absolute favourite at the park. And yeah, it's going to be a good action-packed day here at Canada's Wonderland. My name is Max Brindon and this is Max G-Force. I have to say, this amusement park has some fantastic landscaping. The entrance here just looks brilliant with Wonder Mountain there. Look at Alpen Fury there as well, that's going to be great when that opens. So if you haven't watched that previous video, that day one vlog where I'm credit chasing to get to my 100th coaster credit, be sure to watch it now because I'm about to spoil as to whether I did it. I'm heading straight to Leviathan. I did make it my 100th coaster credit on my first day here at Canada's Wonderland, and wow, it was a real rush to get that in. I had to ride 15 coasters at this park to be able to make it my 100th, and I did manage to do it in a single day. And yeah, I've got to go on it first. In the previous video I went on Behemoth first, so it's only right I start with the other massive fantastic B&M here in the park. And I've made my way to Leviathan now. The queue looks pretty long, as I was expecting, to be honest. It's 306 feet tall, it's a B&M Giga, and it opened in 2012. And some people say, why would they put it here? And they've literally got a B&M Hyper as well at the other side of the park. Well, I think it's quite a good investment because they're both capacity monsters and they both offer different ride experiences. One, Behemoth, focuses on airtime, this focuses on airtime and speedy twists and turns. It's really fantastic, it's a great ride. So yeah, that's why I've come here first. I've just come off two back-to-back rides on Leviathan and God, that thing is amazing. I mean, where do I start? So I had my first ride was in the middle of the train and my second ride was towards the front. The airtime on that, while there's not as much airtime as Behemoth, the B&M Hyper at the other side of the park, this thing is a hell of a lot faster. And there's one element on this that I absolutely love. It's towards the start of the layout. After the overbanked turn at the beginning, you enter a speed hill and it's got like a banked turn as well. And it is fantastic. You're completely out of your seat during the little speed hill and then the turn. It's really good fun. It reminds me a little bit of Millennium Force in terms of the beginning, because Millennium Force also has an outer bank turn right after the first drop, but these things, they're very different. And Millennium Force is a little bit taller, by a matter of feet. I would have to say I do prefer Millennium Force, but they're not that comparable because they're both two different manufacturers. You know, very different elements that they're trying to incorporate. Millennium Force, you've got the the speedy turns and the floaty airtime hills. This, I'd say the airtime is a little bit more sustained than on Millennium Force. But I don't know, there's something about Millie that I do just prefer. But this will always, the Leviathan will always have a special place in my heart because it was my 100th roller coaster credit, and yeah, it is a really, really good ride. And just next to Leviathan is this absolutely massive drop tower. It's an Intamin drop tower. They're meant to be really quite intense, but it's not for me. I'm not a fan of drop towers. I used to be terrified of roller coasters, and the one thing I was terrified about them was the stomach drop feeling you get when going down a drop, and that is the only feeling you get on these things, and I just find them absolutely terrifying. I'll go on them if I have to, but no, not for me. They've got really forceful drops, and the brakes only kick in right towards the bottom, look. Oh, blimey. And as I'm walking to Yukon Striker, I'm just passing this Vekoma Boomerang. It's called The Bats. I rode it in my day one vlog. It was actually my first ever Vekoma Boomerang, and what you're about to see now is my favourite element on it. It's the backwards drop going into that vertical loop backwards. It's so forceful and it feels fantastic, but it's just a bit too rough. So do it once for the credit, but they've got loads of these around the world, so it's not particularly unique to Canada's Wonderland. Look at that. It's Samurai at Thorpe Park. I mean, the number of flat rides they have here is just insane. And this is Alpen Fury, the new for 2025 Premier multi-launch roller coaster. It's going to come out of the station here, do a small booster launch, and it's going to drop into the Wonder Mountain and then launch out of it vertically. It looks like a fantastic layout. I'm upset, I'm disappointed I didn't get on it on this trip. We were hoping it would be open in time, but it is what it is. I mean, delays happen, and it's a new park for me to visit, so there's plenty for me to get on, so I'm not too disappointed. The first main element of this, launching out of that Wonder Mountain, it does remind me a lot of the Volcano, the Blast coaster, which is a now defunct coaster. It's quite legendary, that one. But yeah, I'm going to discuss this in more detail when I get a better view of the rest of the layout. And I'm also just passing Vortex now, which is a classic Arrow suspended coaster. It's got a lovely amount of spin, swing, sorry. And the intensity on it is like fantastic. It's definitely on the higher end of a family coaster, definitely a thrill coaster, I'd say. And there's also, you can just about see there, a Mack Wild Mouse. The number of coasters they've got here is insane. I mean, 17 roller coasters and soon to be 18. That's literally the same as Cedar Point. And the number of family attractions they have here are like endless. This is a really good park for families, and they've also got the thrills as well. That is Yukon Striker, which is where I'm heading now, and it is a really good ride. And look at this flat ride. This is a Mondale Avalanche. It's the only one in operation in the world, I believe. It swings up to 154 feet. You get great hang time on this. Starts off slow, but it will start to build up the momentum. Yeah, no, now it's picking up some speed. They have really unique flat rides at Canada's Wonderland. need more single riders at this park. I mean, get one on Leviathan, because Yukon Striker's got a single rider queue and it was completely dead. There was one other person in it. I got straight on. Oh, fantastic. So, how is Yukon Striker? Well, it is my favourite B&M dive machine. Oh, that first drop is insane. It's obviously the tallest drop on a B&M dive coaster. And the elements on this thing are just fantastic. It's only early in the morning and it's still going round that layout really fast. In my first vlog, I touched on how the vertical loop there made me grey out. That hasn't happened since, so maybe it will happen later in the day once it's warmed up, who knows. But I still get a bit of grey out at the bottom of that drop, which just shows you the intensity of this thing. The restraints on it, so there's two types of restraints that a coaster like this could have. You could either have the ones like on Sheikra, which are standard over the shoulder B&M restraints. They tend to give you a bit of a gap, or no gap at all, depending on the ratchet you get, like the tooth you're in. So, like on Oblivion as well. So, on Oblivion, I often get quite a big gap if the ride operator hasn't stapled me. And on that first drop on Oblivion, I am completely out of my seat. Incredible floaty airtime. With this one, it has vest restraints and they're hydraulic, so you're less likely to get a gap on this. It does mean you're not going to be floating out of your seat, but fortunately the vests on this one doesn't lock up. So in the past, the Swarm, for example, the vest restraints would really lock up tight throughout the layout. I'm glad to say this coaster, similar to Valraven at Cedar Point and also Gatekeeper at Cedar Point, these all share the same restraints. Those vest restraints, they do not lock up tight, so it's as close to a lap bar as you will get, because they're really loose, so you're still you are still sort of coming out of your seat a bit. So yeah, it's a really comfortable ride. They are comfortable restraints. This is my favourite dive coaster out there, and it's really great that Canada's Wonderland has it. Unfortunately, I've not been able to get on the mighty Canadian Mindbuster on my trip here to Canada's Wonderland. It is the tallest of their wooden roller coasters. It's another PTC. They've got 3 of those, and I'm disappointed I've not been able to get on it, but of all the coasters here, it's not that big of a deal. It means that I've essentially ridden every coaster here other than this one, and I'm yet to get on Backlot Stunt Coaster, which I'm going to get on soon. But yeah, it is a bit disappointing, isn't it? Right, I'm going to head over on to Behemoth now. This is one of my favourite rides in the park. The only other B&M Hyper I've ridden is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando in Florida. So when I get off this, I'm going to decide whether Mako or Behemoth, which one's better, essentially. I've just come off a mid-train ride there on Behemoth and it is fantastic. This thing is an airtime machine. Riding it in the middle, you get a lot more floater airtime. It's not as near to ejector as when sitting on the back row. So back row is still definitely my favourite row on this ride. The views you get going up this lift hill are beautiful. If you look over to the left, you get a beautiful view of central Toronto. You see the CN Tower and just the whole skyline of that city over to your left. This coaster is yet another in the park that has a wonderful setting. It's got a lovely lake to the right of it, which reminds me a bit like Mako, but in terms of a direct comparison to Mako, which is the only other B&M Hyper I've ridden, Mako is better. This one While I think it might be a bit longer, and overall the layout is probably better on this in terms of the pacing on this ride is probably better, because with Mako it gets a bit slower towards the end. But this ride, it is quite rough. I know that the roughness, it doesn't ruin the ride experience, but it's definitely something you notice at the bottom of the drops especially. It is really quite juddery. But yeah, Mako I'd say is definitely a better ride. It's a lot smoother, and I feel like on Mako the airtime is a bit more sustained. But this one is taller than Mako, so you know, it is fair to compare them. Hello, this is Max from the future. Something I forgot to mention when comparing this with a Mako at SeaWorld Orlando is the way the seats are arranged. So on Mako you've got 4 across, you know, just like normal sort of seating. On Behemoth, however, it's 2, then behind it are 2 that are sort of far apart, the same style seating as Shambhala at PortAventura World, and it does make this quite cool with the views you can get. So yeah, that is one positive with Behemoth over Mako at SeaWorld. I think it's fantastic that Canada's Wonderland has 3 massive B&M coasters. These coasters are capacity monsters. This thing's running 3 trains. Yukon Striker runs several trains as well, and so does Leviathan. And all these B&M trains, they've got loads of seats, and the operations, especially on Yukon Striker, have been pretty good for these big 3 rides. As for the other coasters at the park, the operations aren't so good, but I mean, where it matters, yeah, it's all right, isn't it? So yeah, this park attracts loads of visitors every year, the busiest park in Canada, so they need capacity eating, you know, crowd line eating rides really. And yeah, Behemoth is just another one of those, and it's a fantastic ride. So yeah, it's worth coming to Canada's Wonderland to ride these big 3 B&Ms, and it's fantastic that they're adding a new thrilling extreme coaster with Alpen Fury. But I do worry about Alpen Fury with regards to capacity, because Premier rides aren't known for high capacity rides. Their trains are pretty uncomfortable, and there's not many seats in them. So I do wonder how long the lines are going to get on Alpen Fury. But yeah, Behemoth is a fantastic coaster, and I think I'm either going to have lunch now or head over to do Backlot Stunt Coaster, which is the last operating coaster that I need to get on here at Canada's Wonderland. Right, I've had a bit of a break between these last 2 clips. I've had lunch. The coaster's drive-in. I had a pretty cold hot dog. It wasn't that good. But anyway, I'm all fueled up now, and I've made my way back to Leviathan, which is my favourite coaster in the park. Behemoth is fantastic, and it is an airtime machine, but it's just faster. I feel like the airtime on this is better because you're going over the hills faster, so you get. I think you get a bit more ejector airtime, even though I'd still say it's floater airtime. I guess if you combine it, it's flowjector, isn't it? But anyway, I've got a few fun facts for you about Leviathan. So it's the 6th tallest roller coaster in the world in operation at the moment. It'll obviously go down to 7th tallest in the world when Falcon's Flight opens in Saudi Arabia. That's going to be the new world's tallest coaster. But anyway, look at this. That long bit of track there is the brake run, so the end of the ride. And look how tall it is. It's like really high up. It's a very peculiar brake run. You don't see many coasters with a brake run that high up and that long as well. It's huge. So the reason it's up so high is if it were lower down, like with Millennium Force's brake run, the train would be travelling at a much faster speed. So the brakes would go through a lot more wear and tear, slowing down a higher speed train. So by having it higher up, the momentum is a lot slower, and so it can bring it to a slower speed a lot easier. a reason as to why it's so long is throughout the layout there isn't a mid-course brake run, which is when you'll often find with coasters there's a little break in the middle or towards the end of the layout, and then you go through a few more elements, and that's to allow another train to enter the layout but behind you, to improve capacity and allow the ride ops to send out more trains. Well, this doesn't have a mid-course brake run throughout the layout, but rather it actually has it at the end of the ride. So that top bit there acts as a mid-course brake run, which allows them to run 3 trains essentially, and it's easier for maintenance as well to walk up to the mid-course brake run rather than having to walk miles into the middle of the layout. Quite interesting, you know, there's a lot of tactics that parks and manufacturers employ to make these coasters as high capacity as possible. And like I said earlier in the vlog, B&M, the manufacturer of this coaster, tend to be fantastic at that. I'm going to head over to Leviathan now for my 3rd ride of the day. It's got to be the best ride at the park. I've just got off my 3rd ride on Leviathan. I've also, you might notice that I've got a coat on now. It's got a bit windy, so I've put my windbreaker on. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Leviathan is just so much fun. Those clamshell restraints that B&M do on these gigas and hypers are just fantastic. So because they use a ratcheting system to lock it, it's like you have to go into a certain tooth, and that can sometimes mean you get really stapled, or it can sometimes mean, like I was on there, you get a nice chunky gap. It's all perfectly safe because they test all the different shapes of people and what's safe and what isn't, and you know, all these coasters, all the restraint systems are perfectly safe. But yeah, I got a fantastic gap there, and I got some incredible air time. But no, yeah, this is definitely the best in the park, in my opinion. Right, I'm just heading into the single rider queue now for Yukon Striker. It usually moves really fast. It's really worth doing. Yeah, and I'll let you know how many rides I get on. I've just got off 3 rides on Yukon Striker. I used that single rider queue and it is so short. It is so worth doing if you don't mind being split up with your party, or if you're on your own. It's obviously perfect. The one thing with Yukon Striker is if you're bringing a rucksack like I do, you're going to have to use these lockers, which are $3 Canadian for 2 hours, and it's the only ride in the park that I've noticed that requires lockers. It's not too big of a deal for me because that only works out to be about £1.50, and it's really not too much money. It's annoying because it should be included in your ticket price because you're paying enough money to get into the parks, but it is what it is. Yeah, that first drop, I know some people say they're only good for one thing and that's the drop, but like one-trick ponies, but no, I think these are great. I can ride these dive machines all day long. Yeah, really good fun. Having just come off 3 rides on Yukon Striker, I'm now heading towards Behemoth, but on my way there's this gyro swing. It's pretty massive, but I'm going to get on a sledgehammer here. It's a Huss Jump 2. It's the only one in operation today. It was built in 2003, and yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic off-road. Right, let's get on it. I'll let you know what I think. I've just got off Sledgehammer and that was fantastic. It looks a lot scarier off-ride than actually on-ride. You know, I think that would be suitable for most of the family really, that ride. It wasn't too intense whatsoever. You got a nice pop of air time when dropping down and a funny sensation when, you know, lifting up. Yeah, it didn't make me spin too much because with some flat rides you're really quite spinning and it can make you feel a little bit sickly, but on this one it was absolutely fine. There was some head banging, but it really wasn't too bad whatsoever. Yeah, a really fun ride and really unique, the only one out there in the world, and I think it looks fantastic and it rides fantastic as well. Seeing as it's right next to Sledgehammer, I thought I'd do Behemoth. It's one of the only rides here, along with Yukon Striker, that has a single rider queue, and they tend to be really quite short at this park. I've just had 2 rides on Behemoth and it is so much fun. Yeah, the downward helix on that delivers some great positives, like positive G-force. It's really good fun, like quite a bit of intensity, but yeah, full of airtime, very good fun. I'm going to head over to Backlot Stunt Coaster, the last operating coaster that I need to get on today. Right, this is the last coaster that I need to get on. It's the Backlot Stunt Coaster. It's just hiding over there. It opened in 2005 and it was originally themed to the Italian Job, back when Paramount Parks owned this theme park. And it's got an LIM launch that launches the the train from 0 to 40 miles per hour in 3 seconds. So I'll let you know how it rides.
Welcome to Backlot Stunt Coaster. Please find your seat as well.
I've just come off Backlot Stunt Coaster and that was good fun. It had a nice little launch at the start. I counted 2 booster launches during the layout, but they were very mild, so literally just keeping the train moving. There was a nice little indoor section there, completely in the pitch black, which was a nice surprise. Yeah, this is full of some nice little surprises. As it's right next to Backlot Stunt Coaster, I thought I'd get some rides in on the single rider queue on Behemoth. I got 3 rides in there, bring my total rides on Behemoth today to 6. Oh, fantastic ride. Right, it's getting towards the end of my day now, so I'm going to pass by Yukon Striker and head on it. Maybe get a couple rides on that through the single rider as well, because these 2 coasters, it's fantastic. They've got those single rider lines. It really saves a lot of time. And that was the last ride I will have on Yukon Striker of the trip. I cannot get over how good this dive coaster is. Every single element hits, and I sat on the front row on the far right seat. The element after the Immelman, after the first drop, you really sort of flipped over on that outer seat. It's probably one of the best seats that you can sit on the train, and yet it's still really forceful. I think if you've watched my day one vlog, you would have remembered I said that the vertical loop was the most forceful element on that ride, and it actually made me really quite grey out. So far that hasn't happened again, so maybe I was dehydrated, because that tends to happen if you're really sort of dehydrated. You get more grey out. But no, I still grey out every single time on that first drop. It's really intense. Yeah, it's great fun. The G-forces on this coaster are just fantastic. Now I'm going to head over to Leviathan and sort of finish up my day here at Canada's Wonderland. It's been really good fun. Not far from Vortex is Lumberjack, which is a Zamperla Hawk 48. They had one of these at Alton Towers back in the day. I mean, the number of flat rides at this park are just endless. Loads of filler attractions to eat up the crowds, which they need, being the most attended amusement park in the country. Well, I was going to show you an off-ride shot of that flat ride, but it just went down, so I was standing there for like 5 minutes waiting to get the shot. Oh well, doesn't matter, it's not that interesting. But yeah, I mean, here's yet another flat ride. I mean, it's just honestly endless. This is Riptide. This is Mondial, the manufacturer's attempt at the classic Huss top spin. What you'll notice, the main difference is that there's two main ride vehicles there, two main gondolas that spin independently. There's only 2 of these in the world as well. So clearly haven't sold as much as the Huss top spin, the likes of which you can find at Alton Towers with Toxicator and formerly Ripsaw, and also Ramesses Revenge at Chesington World of Adventures. And this is it, my last rides on Leviathan, the B&M Beauty. Well, that's it. That was my last ride on a coaster on this trip to Canada and America. So I got 2 rides in on Leviathan. Both were in the exact same seat. Both were on the back row on the far left. And wow, it is just such a good coaster. The airtime you get on that first drop is insane. As I've said before, the clamshell restraints are so freeing. They are the most freeing restraints I've ever experienced. And going down that 306 feet drop with just that restraint, it is insane. You've got to come out to Canada to ride it, you really do. Yeah, easily the best ride here at Canada's Wonderland for me, for sure. And it's great that they've also got some other really fantastic coasters, with Yukon Striker being my favourite B&M dive coaster, and also Behemoth being a really solid B&M hyper. And I mean, I don't know when I'm going to get back here, but if I do, when I do, I look forward to getting on Alpen Fury as well, which it looks like it's got a fantastic layout as well. So yeah, this is, I mean, it's just been a fantastic trip to Canada's Wonderland. 2 amazing days here, and I've got my 100th credit with Leviathan, which is just fantastic. And look at that, that is Alpen Fury. Construction is completed in terms of all the track has been fitted. and wow, it looks fantastic. It's a Premier Rides multi-launch roller coaster. It's got 7 inversions. It'll reach a max speed of just over 70 miles per hour. And yeah, this is definitely inversion heavy, focused on those mad elements. I mean, there's some really unique elements here, starting right at the beginning with that unique inverted top hat as you launch out of the Wonderland mountain. You've got a stall, and you've got this turnaround element here, which reminds me of the treble clef element on Fury 325, but it's got an inversion at the top there, which is a bit different. So yeah, it looks to be a really good ride. The one reservation I do have about it is the fact that it's built, is the fact it's manufactured by Premier Rides. I've ridden some of their coasters, such as Tigris at Busch Gardens, and they don't have the most comfortable of restraints. They're not very comfortable on the shins. They're quite restrictive, and the trains are really quite tight as well. Not very open or freeing. But I mean, we're yet to see how it will ride. So hopefully I get back to this park one day, and I look forward to riding it in the future. And that concludes my North American road trip. I started the trip flying into Toronto. I had 2 days at Niagara Falls. I then drove down to Cedar Point and brought you 2 vlogs, my favourite of which is the Coastermania vlog. What an incredible way to end my trip to Cedar Point. I then drove back up to Toronto and spent 2 days here at Canada's Wonderland. The number of coasters they've got here, it means they've got more quantity over quality, I'd say. You know, but there is plenty for families to do. There's so many flat rides, and the flat rides are really quite unique. I loved Sledgehammer. I just loved watching it off-ride as well. It's a shame that is the only one out there in the world, still in operation today. This holiday has been fantastic, and I will never forget it until the day I die. So yeah, my name is Max Grindon. This is Max G-Force. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and smash that like button if you enjoyed today's video. Also, feel free to leave a comment. I read all your comments and really do appreciate them. So thank you so much for watching today's vlog. It's been an amazing day and an amazing trip as well. I will never forget it.